All right, so what's up there, YouTube? Okay, so today, okay, this is take two. So you won't believe this. I just made an entire video. I took all my time. I took all my stuff. I made this entire video, and I got all the way through it. When I got to the end, I went to hit record and check it, and I went to go do it, and the memory card wasn't in the camera. So I just did a 15-minute video with absolutely nothing happening, just me sitting in front of the camera talking. So if you look right up here, right there, there's a Moza gimbal up there. And I've been a long time gimbal user. So I use that big one for shooting with the Z6 that I'm shooting with right now, with the 24mm 1.8 lens. And it's one of my favorite gimbals to use. One of my favorite things to use. It's always a little bit of a hassle. You have to have, it's for cameras with a lot of weight, bigger lenses and stuff. And so that was one of the reasons, you guys know, I like that gimbal so much that I bought a Moza Mini P. And the Mini P is a smaller gimbal that can actually work with a cell phone or an action camera or a very light mirrorless camera. And I used it with my Nikon Z50 with great results. I really loved using it with the Nikon Z50 because the Z50 didn't have IBIS, but it did have lens stabilization in the lens if you had the little kit lens on it, and it seemed to help out quite a bit. It actually worked very well. But that Moza Mini P was a decent gimbal. I still have it. It's in a box over there. I'd probably just keep it. I'm one of these people, I just like to collect stuff. So anyway, so on my journey of trying to find the perfect gimbal and the perfect situation for my needs, I've been searching around. So I bought the big one up there, and I used that with the Nikon. And I think that was like, I forgot how much I paid for that, $600 or something like that. And then I bought a Moza Mini P for like $200, and it worked pretty good. And it was a great little gimbal for the Z50, especially. It was fantastic. It was one of my favorite things. So I sold the Z50, thank goodness, because they finally did come out with the Z52, Z50 Mark II, which just came out like maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago, and it's a much better camera. So it fixed a lot of the issues that was wrong with the old Z50. The only problem was it still has the same sensor, but they did improve the autofocus on the Z52 quite a bit, and that was the only thing that was really wrong with the Z50, was the autofocus wasn't all that great. It was okay. So, but on a gimbal, I would, set it to f3.5 or f4 or something, and so most things were in focus on a little APS-C lens, so it wasn't that big of a deal to get some gimbal shots with the Z50. It actually worked out pretty good. But as you guys know, I recently, I guess it was not that recent, maybe a year ago, I bought the Hohem M6. This gimbal here I purchased, the Hohem M6, and it's actually more of a cell phone gimbal. It's a little gimbal for cell phones. It has an actual cell phone attachment, but the cool thing that it does have is this thing up top, and this little magnetic thing here. You can flip around. You can flip it on that side, or you can pull it off and put it on this side. And what it does is, this is an intelligent tracker. So when the gimbals, you guys know, because you've probably seen me use it. I'm putting it back away. You guys have seen me use it. I've got a little tripod stand for the bottom of it. Everything fits in this nice little case. And I like it so much, I even bought the wireless remote for it. So this little thing here is a wireless remote for this gimbal. So you can actually So the problem was, and I'll tell you, the reason why I bought the wireless remote is because that gimbal does intelligent tracking. It tracks you. So you hold your hand up and it starts tracking you, right? But to reframe, you have to do this. And the problem with doing this, you go, okay, reframe, and then move over here to this side, and then reframe. And see my hand, see this hand here, how it's off the camera, off the lens? If this hand was too far away, it wouldn't reframe, it wouldn't see it, and it wouldn't track it. So I'd have to move it in. So I'd have to be closer, and it made it harder to reframe the shot. So it would work, but also it was a little bit difficult setting up and getting it reframed. And it only worked with a phone. It worked with an action camera, but the problem with an action camera is the lens is so wide on an action camera, you don't really need to track you. So if I'm any farther than say 4 feet away on an action camera, if I'm further away than like 4 or 5 feet, it's pointless because it's so wide, you're going to be in the shot anyway. So what are you tracking? You're going to move the camera a little bit just to keep it off to one side. I mean, it was okay for an action camera, but it didn't do what you need it to do. So what I wanted it to do, I would like to have, is one that tracked this camera, or a camera like this, like an APS-C, like a Z50 or something like that. And that way I can have a longer lens and have that really cool blurred out background and have it be tracking me to have like a second person. And also, if I'm, say, shooting a wedding, and I'm walking behind them or walking in front of them, it would be nice if I could click the trigger and have it track a human. So it would track them, just like, but so that I don't have to have their input. I don't have to have them turn around and go start and stop tracking, right? They don't have to put their hand up to stop tracking or start tracking, or okay to start tracking. You know, you have to give them, by forcing them to have to do things, I'm trying to involve them in the shooting. It's their wedding day. The last thing they want to do is be involved in how to get the camera working. You know what I mean? So it's kind of silly. It's like they're shooting themselves. So it would be nice to have a trigger where you could just pull a trigger. It would start tracking a human. Then I could walk backwards, right, with the camera, and I could be looking back here and walking backwards and watch where I'm going and know that the gimbal is tracking them. So I don't have to worry of, am I off the shot? And I'm constantly having to look and make sure that it's tracking. So it'd be nice if there was a gimbal that did that would track them. And there is. So, of course, the Chinese company that makes the best gimbals ever, and that's basically invented gimbals, as a gimbal for me. So if you look at the camera, what is it? A mirrorless camera like the Z6. So this is the DJI Ronin RS4 Mini combo. And the combo comes with the arm. See this little arm right here? It comes with the briefcase arm, and it comes with the intelligent tracker. So I bought this with my own hard-earned money. I'm not being paid by DJI. The reason why the box is so light is I opened it already in the first video, and I don't feel like doing another unboxing, because all it is the unboxing is you open it up, you pull up 2 boxes out, and then pull the gimbal out. So there's nothing in here. And if you want to watch unboxing videos, go to another channel and watch them. There, how's that? So I'm going to show you the gimbal. I set it down over here. So here's the gimbal. And let me explain the other reasons why I purchased this gimbal. Number 1, intelligent auto tracking. You can put the intelligent tracker on it, click it once with the thing, with it pointed at a subject, it'll start tracking that subject. And so no matter where I move, the gimbal will be, so I can literally point the gimbal towards the subject, turn around, walk backwards, walk like this, and go backwards, and watch where I'm going. And I'm not going to trip. I'm not going to fall over, I'm not going to fall off a bridge. I'm not going to fall into a water. I'm not going to I'm not going to stumble and break my expensive gear, and the camera will track the subject. I can set it up and track myself. I can reframe it. And here's how the reframing works on this. You don't have to do the two fingers and do this and try to reframe and do all that. What you do is, on this, in the settings, in the menu, you can set it to either frame you in the center of the screen, like I am right here, dead center. And what it does is it actually puts it more like this, like your head is down here. It gives all that space up there that doesn't look good. Nobody likes that. So you want to have a smaller amount of space above your head, right? So it does that. Or what you can do is move off to the side and then start tracking, and it will keep you off to the side. That's how it's supposed to work. That's intelligent tracking. Move off to the side, start tracking, and now it keeps you in that rule of thirds that you were in. Perfect. That's what I wanted the gimbal to do, the other one to do. That's what I wanted the Hohem to do. So that's why I didn't get the M8 or M7, whatever the next one, M2 or whatever the other one is that works with the DSLR, because it had the same tracker on it, which was fine, but especially with that whole thing with moving your camera off the side, that to me is a bigger deal. And the other thing is this is DJI. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge fan of DJI products. I love their action cameras. I have the Osmo Action. I had the Osmo Action 1. It was a great camera. Put it anywhere, record anything all the time. Never overheated. Never gave me a lick of problem. Bought an Action 3. Same thing. Turn it on. It works perfect every time. Records. Never have a problem. You've seen my videos of me on the bicycle. Action 4. I got an Osmo Action 4. Thing works fantastic. Turn it on. Works great. So that's you know, I've never had a problem. My drones, I've had a couple of I had a DJI Mavic Air, Mavic 4 Mini, the DJI Air. Fantastic little drone. You don't need a license. You don't need to worry about them coming after you if you happen to be flying in an area. They'll come and check on it. It's so light. It works perfect. It's got full auto detection all the way around 360. You can't wreck the thing. It's fantastic. You saw the footage of me out on the bike in the last video out on the beach, shot with that drone. DJI makes fantastic products. I'm very happy with their products. And that's something that's changed in Chinese brands in the past 10 years. It's actually 10 years ago in 2015, China came out with an idea. It was a platform, an idea, something that they wanted to do, and it was called Made in China 2025. Tony and Chelsea Northrup talked about this the other day, and I watched the video, and I already knew about it because I saw it. So back in 2015, if you bought a Chinese product, it was just usually a cheap Chinese knockoff, right? And China realized, look, we're not making any money just making products. We need to invent products. That's what Americans did. We invented products and had them make them for less. So they realized that cheap labor is not going to help us. Building the stuff, that's part of my issue with the tariffs and all that stuff, but I don't want to get into politics. But part of my issue with we need to make it here isn't that. China is not getting rich from making the products there. They're getting rich from inventing products that are better than everybody else's. That's what they're getting rich from. They know daggum well. They know damn well that them making a cheap knockoff of another product is not how you get rich. Actually building the product isn't where the money's at. The money isn't in building this. The money is in inventing this and getting people to actually pay higher dollar. So in other words, the Hohem version of this, the cheaper Hohem version with the tracking and all that stuff, is $240. This was like $490. So this costs more money, right? So I didn't buy this because it was a cheap Chinese knockoff. I bought it because it was better. So that's the point. So China went after American company GoPro. They made cameras that were better. That's why they worked. It wasn't knockoffs of a GoPro. There's tons of knockoff GoPros on Amazon. You can go on Amazon and buy a $30 knockoff GoPro, but it's going to be a cheap knockoff and it's going to fall apart and it's not going to work. I've had literally 30 of them, 40 of them. Literally, I've had tons of those. When I finally found the DJI Osmo, I was like, wow, this is an actual competitor to the GoPro. And that's what they do. DJI takes something and makes it better. They literally invented the drone. You can't get a drone. DJI is the #1 manufacturer of personal drones in the world. They're huge. And the reason why they're so good is because they're better. They have all these different zones and modes, and they do all the obstacle avoidance, and they do all that stuff. There was other drones that came out that were, American drones. Skydio was an American drone, and they didn't sell as well. They were good, but they weren't as good as the DJI. DJI just made a better drone. That's all there is to it. And they made a better gimbal, and they make a better action camera, and they make better products. That's why we buy them. We don't buy them because it's a cheap Chinese knockoff. So having the factory here isn't the point. Inventing it here and making the better product is the point. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. But anyway, so this is step one to making better videos for you guys. That's step one. Step two is that camera. So, and step three is the microphone. So I'm going to get over all these. I'm going to discuss them real quick with you. So first off, the camera. I noticed these Nikon cameras. These are really good cameras. The Z6 is a great camera. But the problem with the Z6 is it's old. It's the first iteration of the Nikon mirrorless camera. The autofocus is not that great. Like right now, I can see that I'm in focus. I'm looking at the monitor, and that's the whole reason why I got a monitor, so I can see myself and see if I'm in focus, because the focus is bad. Like if I get away from it sometimes, there's been a ton of footage that I could not use, after shooting, I can't use the footage because it's out of focus. It's not focusing on me. And I'm like, well, focus on me. I'm right in front of the camera. Focus on me. So, and you hold up a product and it doesn't look. It won't, like it there. It got on it this time. But see, my face is still in the shot a little bit. And there's the thing. There. Got it to focus. Now it's focusing back on me. So it's working pretty decent with enough light. But I noticed that f1.8 with a blurry background, not quite as good in focus, right? So if I bring this down, get more of the background in focus there, this is probably a lot clearer in focus. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's focusing on my face as well. So here's the issue. So that's one thing. The other thing is I can't tell if it was on. So like when I was recording, it doesn't show me record in the monitor above through the HDMI out. It's not showing me that there's recording. I don't know if there's a way to make it do it. I can't tell. But there's no tally light. And I wish there was a tally light. On the Z52, there's a tally light. The problem is on the Z52, it's still, the focusing is good, but it's not as good as Canon and Sony. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a miles ahead of this camera, but it's not as good as Canon and Sony, especially Sony. So I'm thinking of getting the Sony RX10. I think it's the RX10 Mach 2, the new version of the Sony RX10. It's basically a little vlogging content creator camera. It's nothing, it's the A6700, but with less photo features. So, and here's the thing. Everybody rants and raves about the A6700. This is the best camera, blah, blah, blah. This is the best. I can't believe they did it. They made this fantastic camera. but these are from photographers. So from a video perspective, I don't really need to have more than human, animal, and some other detect. I don't need all that. I want it to do human and animal and maybe insect or birds or whatever, and that's it. I don't need it to have 6 of those modes. So the A6700 has a separate AI chip in it so that it can do more of that type of detection for photography. But for video, I don't care. I don't need it. And 99% I thought about this, 99% of my footage is video. It's not photo. I do photo, but if I'm going to do photo, I'm not going to be using the A6700. I'm going to be using a full frame camera and my nicer lenses. I'm not changing the whole thing just for photos, right? So for me, a photo would be better off with the Z6 III or a Z8 and some fantastic glass. So that's my thought is I'm going to sell one of my Z6s. I've got 2 of them. I don't need 2 of them. Not anymore. I need the second camera can be a Sony, the little content creator camera. In a pinch, I can grab it and do some video with it. So I'm going to sell one of the Nikons. And then if I end up shooting a wedding and I need a 3rd camera, I'll just rent one. I can just rent a camera. I already have lenses, so I can just rent a Z8 or a Z6 III or something and get it for a couple days for $150 or whatever, and there, problem solved. I don't need to buy a $4,000 camera just to have a second camera sitting around the house. Anyway, so that's the second thing. And the third thing is, so I'm getting a Sony. I'm going to get one. And I'm not brand loyal. I'm going to get a Sony. There you go. I've had Sonys before. I was very happy with my Sony cameras before. The third thing is the microphone. So right now I'm using the Comica. You saw the box, Comica. This is the microphone. There's microphones. The receiver's right now on the camera, and then one of the transmitters is there. The other one's right here. There's the transmitter. I've had a cold for like a week now, 2 weeks almost. So here's the thing. I've been looking at a bunch of different wireless mic options. And the reason why is I have the Hohem Mic 01. So here's the problem with these. This does not record. These little buggers do not have a memory card. They don't record on the thing. They only transmit to that receiver. That's all they do. And that's fine, but it'd be nice if it had a physical backup in case that gets too far away. So say I put this on a groom. The other thing is there's 2 things to this. You put this one on a groom, there's no mic input. So I can't put a lav mic. So you have to see this little light on it. Right? If I'm shooting this, I don't care that you can see the light. It's a vlog. It's for YouTube. Who cares? But if I'm shooting a groom, you can't have a light. You can't have this thing sticking outside of his jacket. It looks terrible. So you just want a little lav mic, right? On his lapel, by his flower, under his flower, kind of hiding. So in order to use a lav mic, I need a different microphone. So I bought the Hohem Mic 01. That's this. These are awesome. They're little transmitters. They have a jack on the top, mic jack, and they have a little spot for a memory card. And I have little fast memory cards in the thing. So if you're shooting and say you start recording and you get something happens, it gets some interference, boom, you get some interference, it's still recording to the little microphone, right? Fantastic. Problem solved, right? No, problem not solved. We got a really big problem with these. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. Because, so, for content creators, I'm sitting here, I plug in the mic, I put the mic in my thing, I put a lapel mic on, great. I put the receiver over there on the camera, I plug it in, fantastic. Now you can hear me. The mic's working perfect. I didn't put it in today because I was using the Comica because I got to plug in anyway. Fantastic, right? The problem with the Hohem Mic 01, say you put it on this camera and I put the microphone on a groom and I go into his dressing room, which is in a different part of the building somewhere, and I put the mic on him. I check it, it's on, boom, okay, great. I put it on him. You'd think, okay, now it's on, it's recording, right? No. It records when it's in sync with the receiver. But the problem is it doesn't auto resync with the receiver. So as long as I put it on, say on this camera right here, and I'm still in range of this camera, it's fine. It's working fine. But as soon as I get out of range, and it's not as soon. I tried it here at my house. I plugged it in and I went all the way out back. It lost range. But then I came back in, it picked it right back up again and continued. The problem is if it stays out of range for too long, it stops recording and it stops receiving. It turns off. If it doesn't detect a signal, it turns off, and it turns off the recorder part on the little thing. So not only is it not transmitting to the camera, it's not recording on the little micro card. It completely eliminates the whole purpose of having the thing. The thing is so that you can put it on somebody and they can leave or walk away and get off the camera, and it continues recording. When they come back, it starts recording again. So I lost an entire ceremonies of audio. Luckily, I had other audio things, but the mic that was on my groom was hooked up to my action camera that was right there, 3 feet, 5 feet from him, pointed right down. It was in a perfect spot, but I put it on, I checked it, it was on, it's recording, great. Record on the camera, it's great. Everything's great, it's recording on the thing. I walk all the way across, put the mic on him. I come back. We shoot the entire ceremony. None of the audio is on it. None. It stopped recording over there on him because it wasn't connected to the thing. When it starts recording, it should just continue to record. And then if it resyncs with the camera, it should start back with the camera and start syncing again. Why did it go off and not come back on? Oh man, that really pissed me off. I was like, what's the point? The point is worthless. It doesn't make any sense. It's only good if you're right within vision or eyesight of it. It's going to have a good recording anyway. You don't need the backup recording if you're right there. I mean, unless something happens, right? So I mean, oh man, was that frustrating. So I've been looking at a bunch of different mics, and again, DJI has pulled through. The DJI Mic 2 or whatever, the little small one, not the little mini one, Cube, that doesn't record locally and it doesn't have a lav mic input. So you can't really, that's okay if you're just doing content creation, but it's this basically. It's one of these, but tiny. So I don't need that. What I need it to record on the locally as a backup, and I need it to have a lav mic input so I don't have to have this big thing on somebody's jacket. I can just have a small lav mic up there, and it needs to be able to, to not unsync or not work if it goes off the camera. I mean, that's ridiculous. It goes off the thing for too long and it just turns off. That doesn't help me. It needs to work. I'm going to try it. Also, the DJI has a Sony adapter, so you can actually put it on the Sony camera and not have cords hanging off or any of that stuff. It just goes right in digitally. And so like even this one, see, I've got this receiver has got a cord on it. See, there's a cord on it and it's hanging off my camera. So if this was on a gimbal, I'd have to have a way to mount that and another cord and a cord going to the monitor. And I mean, it'd be so much faster just to pop on the hot shoe. It's on, the mic's on, you're done. You're going, right? And it's working perfect. So these are the reasons why I'm getting these products, is so that I can make better videos for you guys. And I realized that when I made a video of my bicycles and my, the drone shot of my bike and all this different stuff, I thought, well, it'd be nice if I could just stick a gimbal over there and have it follow me, or be able to use some better cameras than the action camera. Action cameras are fine, but for like doing reviews in the garage or changing the bike tires and stuff like that, I use this camera because it does a much better job. And I want to be able to use my higher quality cameras for those times when I can. So if I'm going on a trip, or I'm taking the bike for a ride, having a couple action cameras on there and then a small creator camera for other stuff, sticking on a tripod and do some video like that. That's kind of what I want to do. I don't want to have to only shoot with the action cameras. The action cameras do a great job, but everything's in focus. It's a wide shot. Everything's in focus. I want some more of this look where you got the shallow depth of field like I have here. And the only way to do that's with a bigger sensor. So, or artificially, and it doesn't look as good artificially. It looks better with a big sensor. You just got to get it. That's how it works. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. And if you didn't like it, you don't want to see it any more of this stuff like this, go away. Don't watch my stuff. See you guys.